I believe that the reason God created man was for management.
Really? I have never heard it put that way.
The first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself.
God will never allow growth where there is no management.
Wow, wow, wow.
So instead of praying for things from God, pray for the management ability.
Everything I tell you is true. Everything I open my mouth and I say is correct because heaven directs me on what to say. Eligwe, heaven will tell me and I will tell you it will come to pass in front of your eyes, not behind you. You will see it happening.
God will withhold things from you if you cannot manage them.
When you look at the facts that something around 1 million people perished as a result of the actions of the British and Russian and Nigerian federal governments.
Vis-a-vis what we see in Nigeria, which is truly not, it should not be surprising. Look, what's happening in Nigeria is barbarous. It's horrible. I mean, it's complete madness, yet it's not a priority. The United States unilaterally could do almost anything it needs to do. It would be a long-term effort, but it could be done. And the United States has the capability. All the elements of power, we have those.
So why not?
It's not a priority. That's the problem. We are committed elsewhere in the world. Black West Africa is not a priority.
Anybody who changes his principles depending on whom he is dealing, that is not a man who can lead a nation.
Excuse me. They can't tell me. No way. When the time comes, it's okay. What stupid country is this? So when you see you tell somebody's secret, when you like, you tell a secret. When you like, it's in public. What stupid country is that? What stupid country is that, I ask you? When you like, you try in secret. When you like, you try in private. They are killing my people. 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 After killing my people, you tell me to tell the secret. The person is mad. Completely mad. Tell Buhari, that's what I said. That he is mad. He cannot tell me. He cannot tell me. He's a madman. There's a contempt of court proceedings here. Contempt of court. They don't obey court order. They don't obey court order. You're telling me secret trial. Is the person mad?
I, Nnamdi Kanu, will sacrifice anything sacrificable to make sure that Biafra comes.
We hereby declare no election, no 2023 general election in Biafra land. This no election in Biafra land has been activated. We are going to make it a task that must be done by every Biafran. All measures will be put in place to make sure the adequate civil disobedience is implemented to stop the election in Biafra land.
the meaning of discovery? It means to bring to light something that is buried on the ground. If you can accept that, then you know that Biafra is coming. There is nothing man can do about it. It's too late. Way, way too late. The countdown has begun.
What they had in Lagos in those days in Northern Barracks was a cult of homosexuals, of which Abba Kyari was, of course. I know him very well, and I know the boyfriend. You people don't know what is happening in your zoo. Do you think that the curse that was laid on Asarok is a joke? Anybody who goes in there, you either die or you lose a relative. Go down to Asarok, you see what will happen to you. Abba Kyari is the last one. I said it live on air. If you go into Asarok to rule Nigeria, you will die there. Or your family, somebody from your household will die. Ask Jonathan, he will tell you. Ask Obasanjo, he will tell you. Ask Babangida, he will tell you. Ask Yaradua, he will tell you. You people don't know what you're in for. You have no idea that this very movement of IPOB, this Biafra,
Yeah, I'm delighted to host you today again. Today being Wednesday, the 21st day of December 2022. I want to thank you for joining wherever you're watching from all over the nations of the world. I am so delighted having you here. I am very, very sad about the things that are happening in our land. I just watched a particular video. I've been watching many of them, but it's so painful, when you see these videos. But I just watched one just some 10-15 minutes ago of how these Fulanis, cutting the necks, heads of our people. I just feel very, very angry inside of me, very, very pained inside of me, very, 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 very angry. And especially my anger tilts towards those people who are actually clamoring for one Nigeria, those people who have decided to make themselves the enemies of the freedom of the people. It's so disheartening. But before I go into that, I want to thank you all. This is Biafra Global Network, and today is Tide of Affairs, where we look at situations and events that are going on around all over the place, all over the world, and of course, basically relating to Biafra. I want to thank my Oduduwa brothers, everyone who is working assiduously to make sure that Biafra and Oduduwa Nation and other nations that are trapped in the contraption actually receive their freedom. I want to thank you all for joining wherever you're joining from. I want to say thank you. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and we're looking at critical evidence of United Nations aiding killing of Biafrans. And of course, on today's program, Tide of Affairs. And I want to say, please, as you just join in, just like this video and subscribe to the channel if you have not, and then also send this video on all your social media platforms. Let people join. Now, of course, we have talked about, of course, I remember that some of you remember that about 3 months ago, Antonio Guterres came into the zoo, or into Biafra, into the Nigeria contraption, and went to Borno and all those places. He never visited Biafra land, in spite of the siege the militaries is holding on. Now, you see, I am so angry within me, and but I know that God himself is very, very angry, especially with those people who are clamoring for election. I'm going to be taking my time to talk about election and referendum in one of the programs, either this weekend or by next week. I'm going to have critical program on that. And of course, I'm going to also, by tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to be looking at the issue of Abiola and how Abiola was killed, because I want to bring out some stuff here so that people can begin to understand, when we talk about having our own nation, and when we talk about, building a nation of our own that will be of positiveness to us, people got to understand all of this stuff. And I want you to understand that the world is against us, whether you like it, whether you believe it or not. If you say you've been writing to United Nations, we have been writing to ICC, we have been writing to UN, we have been writing to, and of course, United Nations, UN, we have been writing to ECOWAS, we have been writing to AU, and every nation of the world. I want to tell you that majority of these nations are against us, especially those ones who are typically world powers. They are against us. And so if we want to get our destiny, we must take our destiny in our hands. Nobody will help you get yours. They have looked at Africa, all Africa wants, people of Africa, especially those of us who are dark in complexion. You know, we always want people to give us what we want to have. We don't want to fight for them. We don't want to take action. And they themselves believe in taking action. But the truth is that they know what it means to have freedom, and they have sacrificed to have their freedom, and they intend to have us also sacrifice. So when you see them turn blind eye to the things going on in our nation or in the whole of Africa, or basically in the contraption called Nigeria, they are turning blind eye, not because they don't know what it is. You saw the intro I played, the jingle. It's in that interview, that man said, America knows everything happening. They know everything happening. They have the power to take action. It will cost them. It will cost some time. It will cost resources, but definitely they can take care of it. But it is not a priority because they know that for freedom to be acquired or to be taken, people must stand for themselves to decide to be free. That is why the United Nations Charter has the details that you have the right to be free, and you have the right to apply the force or the concept of force to free yourself. I'm so pained in my heart when I saw this video, the way they are cutting the necks of these ladies and these guys, and they were screaming, crying, helpless, just because some group of people have allowed Fulanis to actually do these grievous things in our lands. But I'm going to go into that detail, and I'm going to bring proof of how we should understand that United Nations. I want to speak to them today because they are watching, although they can't help us. But I want them to know that what they are doing is inhuman, and very, very disheartening. Inhumane and very disheartening. Very inhuman, very wicked, and very evil. But the truth about it is that we're not going to blame them. We're going to blame ourselves, especially those of us who have decided to sell the mandate, sell the freedom, sell what we need to, what we represent. I want to welcome you to this program. Please, as you join in, just like this video, because I want this message to go very far. It is very, very important that our people get the details of this message. Very, very important that our people get the details of this message. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at a Abiola issue. We're going to look at it critically because our people must understand what is happening. Why was Abiola killed? You think he was just killed because he had to be killed because he didn't want to give the Yorubas the platform of presidency? No, there's so many things involved. Very, very interesting times, and we have to begin to deal with issues the way they are. Tomorrow is recreating Biafra, but we're going to be looking at it because we want to recreate Biafra. And recreating Biafra, we look at situations also that will help us to begin to think right so that we'll be able to have a nation where we can use our talents and gifting to recreate. And that's why I welcome you today to this program. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, as I told you, and of course, as you know, and please share this video right now. And I'm going to go to your messages and let me talk to you and let's rub minds. Here, Eric Barry is the first person to send message today. Eric Barry, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Mazi Kelechi. Thank you so much, Eric Barry. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. You are always here to support. And of course, you are a person who loves truth. That is why you're always here. Edith Nedu is the second person. Good afternoon, Mazi Kelechi. Thank you so much for coming. Yes, thank you so much also for joining. I want to thank you all. Yesterday, I couldn't make it here because of some serious hindrances that were beyond my control. They were beyond my control, so I couldn't actually be here. And I was feeling very pained about it. But it is good that we are here. God gives us life, and we are here together. Thank you so much, Edith Nedu, and good to have you, and appreciate you very much. I thank those of you who are watching. We have about, by now, we're seeing about 18 people. We hope that more people will come in to watch. Let's share this so that people can join us. I feel lots of people will be an interesting one. Shalom, Kelechi, and everyone. Thank you so much, Aubrey's Dishes. Thank you so much. It is a very, very interesting topic to discuss so that our people begin to understand what is actually going on, especially in the zoo, and what they don't know. They should understand these things. Amoku, welcome, my comrade Kelechi. Thank you so much, Amoku. Good to have you. I hope today they are not restricting messages, because I'm just seeing only a few messages. But you can send in message. You can also come in and also talk to me here. Noah Lynn Odiambo. I also heard another Kenyan name that is Adiambo. So yours is Odiambo. So thank you so much. I heard it today on Odiambo. Adiambo. I heard Adiambo. I was wondering, Adiambo, Odiambo, what's the difference here? But I would appreciate you for joining anyways. And thank you so much, Noah Lynn. Good to have you. Rebecca Sharon, good also love from here to you. Thank you so much for the love, and I love you too. I love every one of you here and watching, wherever you're watching from. It is because of the concept of truth. You know, that is why we're here. And the purpose why we're here is to see that we restore truth and sanity to our lives. And the only way we can do that is not by fasting, not by praying, not by going to religious houses to bind and cast. If you have a nation that is in comatose, if you are in a situation that is in comatose, and you are praying and binding and casting, on what platform, on what basis are you going to actually be satisfied or restored? You need a nation, an environment that is peaceful. You need an environment that is peaceful. That is why God told Israel He's going to give them their land full of milk and honey, and then they can have dominion to actually control the resources that God has given to them. God institutes people so that they can take dominion over the land He gives to them. God is concerned about people having their own land and building their own nation. God is concerned about tribes, nations, and tongues, and all of that. Of course, you guys know the story of Genesis 6, Genesis chapter 7, where God's scattered the people all over the nations of the world using language. Basically, that tells you that God actually sets a mandate of division, in the sense of dividing the population or the people by culture, because language is a basic product of culture. God actually designed culture as a means of giving the people an identity. You must understand this, that culture is critically an identity. And that is why you cannot talk about nation without looking at the concept of culture. That is why I keep talking about it regularly, and all the time I mention the fact of culture. Culture is critical because it is very, very, very important to actually deal with this. Now, God Himself instituted the concept of culture so that our people can understand what it means to have a singular purpose or collective purpose. In spite of our personal interests, the collective interest is what helps you achieve your personal interest, because collective interest gives you a sense of nationhood. And when this nation has peace, then you can talk about your personal interest growing and growing. How can you talk about growing when the society is in comatose? How can you talk about increasing and improving and developing and, of course, profiting or maybe having blessings when you don't have a land of your own that is prosperous? So when I see all these religious houses telling the people to gather every day to come and pray for prosperity, to come and pray for their businesses, to come and pray that they grow, on what premise are they going to grow? On what platform are they going to grow? They need a peaceful environment to do business. People need peaceful environment. And when you begin to pray about the issues of peaceful environment alone, then you are doing something wrong. There's a need for critical action where you would take action to actually achieve peace in your environment. I saw this video today and it was so painful. I was filled with rage. About 20 or 30 minutes ago, I saw this video. I was full of rage. Look at this fool, and he's cutting the necks of our people with cutlass or machete, cutting the necks of our people, cutting the necks of this lady. The voice of this particular lady was so high. She was screaming. They are dying, cutting their necks, digging the ground like you do the way you kill fowl. You just dig the ground and then you begin to cut people's necks and the blood is pouring. Oh my God. And we have people who know this, who see this evil, and yet nobody's doing anything. We have a government. Let's say we have a government. Let's just imagine and assume we have a government that claim to actually to be positive and all of that. They claim all of this, but they are doing nothing about it. They are doing nothing about it. We have people who say they are elders, I'm going to be having a message for elders in Biafra land. I'm going to be having a critical broadcast for elders and politicians in Biafra land. That will be next week. I'm going to do that. Very, very critical and very, very important. These guys were being beheaded, not because they have committed any crime, not because they belong to any, they have done any business with these people to warrant that kind of attack. Even if you have done business with me and you feel that I've cheated you, is that how to handle it? Is that how to handle it? You take it to the law and deal with it. You have a situation where armored tanks are coming into the land of Biafra, and Biafrans are being beheaded and killed. And yet we have people within us who call themselves elders, who call themselves one Nigerianists, who see this evil. They don't talk about it. They don't say anything about it, but they want to talk about the one that they feel they can use as a tool to justify their quest for election. They talk about the issue of sit at home, and they began to talk about those who were killed during the sit at home. And they said that was when they remembered that we have been shedding lots of blood. Oh my God. Before I go into that, I would want to go into the issue of what is happening and what the United Nations is doing to aid the killing of our people. The reason why I'm making this reference to the killing of our people and how our people being butchered is because we have come to the point where we need to let the world know that we know that they are accomplices. The United Nations Secretary General comes to the zoo, and where he could go is Borno. Who gave him information about Borno? Why didn't they give him information about Biafra land? Biafrans are being killed in their land. They never gave him information about Biafra land, but he could come in and go to Borno, which means that when it comes into the zoo, as soon as they come in, the first thing that happens is that they are taken to the place where they need to see what they need to see. And we have people who call themselves politicians from Biafra land in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, as ministers and all of that, yet they could not actually talk to Guterres to go to Biafra land. You know why? The strategic positions that make up the zoo's government have been taken over by the Fulanis. So when these people come in, the first thing they do is that it is only those people with those strategic positions that talk with them. And when they talk with them, they now act based on that. Now I'm going to show you a document here, because I want to show you from the zoo's broadcast station. That's Radio Nigeria. They call it Radio Nigeria. From their own broadcast station, I'm going to show you how this United Nations is aiding killing of Biafrans. You and I know what happened in Ehamufu. You and I knew what happened in Ehamufu. You and I have been seeing the killings that have been happening to our people. I don't know. I wish I could play that video here of the cutting of the necks of our people so that you and I can see it, and then we can send this message to them. But I don't want to, before YouTube will censor you and all of that. I wish I can play that video here. This video is so disheartening that innocent people will be butchered as if they are animals. And nobody is saying anything about it. Nobody is talking about it. Nobody is referring to them. The United Nations is not talking about them. United States is not talking about them. Britain is quiet. Britain is quiet. Even Russia is quiet. They were part of those who killed us in the first place. Ukraine is quiet. They were part of those who killed us in the first place in 1967. All these nations of the world are quiet. They are the ones who are the permanent members of the United Nations. They are seeing this gross evil. Yesterday, there was an attack, in Iraq. There was an attack in Iraq. And BBC was everywhere announcing it. How many they said about I don't know whether it's 7 people also were killed. BBC was everywhere announcing it. BBC was everywhere announcing it. But the issue of Biafra, look at the Mufu killing. They have not talked about it. Today, the Zoo newspaper is talking about the killing at what part of the north now? They were talking about the killings. Every killing going on in Biafra land, nobody has mentioned it. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's saying anything about it. And we call ourselves human beings. We call ourselves human beings. We call ourselves human beings. You can imagine that level of evil. You can imagine this level of evil. Now I'm going to show you this document because I want us to look at this and analyze it very well. Now, remember, in tactics, especially when it comes to peace, everybody knows that the most dangerous thing you can do for yourself is to actually get your enemy to be part of your plan and program, especially in what you're doing. The most dangerous thing you can do is to get your enemies or the people, especially people who are sadists, people who are terrorists. The most evil thing you can do to yourself and the most way you can shoot yourself in the foot is to get your terrorists, to admit terrorists into your system. After a kind of a sham rehabilitation program, you put them back into the society and into the military. How many times have you heard any world power imbibe or take in terrorists or someone who attacks their nation? Even Osama bin Laden, when he attacked the US, the World Trade Center in 2001, what happened was that they looked for him. They made sure he was killed. They were looking for him not to rehabilitate him and put in the military. No, they looked for him because they wanted to deal with him. And they dealt with him, and the president came out to announce it. How can you propose that a nation and you support that a nation should admit people who are terrorists? These are not, you know them fundamentally, you know their biography, you know their fundamental history, and you, as a so-called Secretary General who should know better, you are endorsing that they should bring these people into the military, into the society. What are you trying to say? Now let me play this. This happened 3 months ago when he came into the zoo, and because sometimes we forget things easily. And the reason why I want to bring this up, and I made it the heading, so that they will read it when they read it. And I want us to share this far and wide, share this video far and wide, so that the United Nations will also get it, so that we can tell them that we know that they are the ones aiding these Fulanis to kill us. So many Fulanis have been put into the military, and today they are in Biafra land killing us. Now let me bring this document up so that you can see it, so that we look at it first before I keep analyzing, because we're going to look at this document and then we can now go on with the details of this document. Now look at this document critically. UN pledges support for integration of repentant Boko Haram. Pledges support. You know what it means to make a pledge? It is like a vow. Like a vow. They pledge support for reintegrating or reintegration of repentant Boko Haram into the society called Nigeria. Mr. Guterres and his delegation at what they call it now, at Bio Road camp, where he assessed the situation of the camp. Now let's read further now. Look at this now. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has promised to support the reintegration process for repentant Boko Haram fighters into the society, for the rehabilitation or reintegration. Now, what does it mean to reintegrate? It simply means to accept them back as you used to have them. Now, remember, when it comes to an average Boko Haram person. I should understand that before you talk about reintegrating people, you must look at their criminal nature. 1, 2, you must look at their personality. 2, 3, you look at their behavior. 3, of course, when you talk about criminal nature, you're talking about the antecedents. That means how they have their source, the way they have been coming, their way of life. You know, their life attitude, their life actions, their life behavior, their ancestral, actions, their ancestral source, from where they are coming from, how they have been living their lives. You will talk about their behavior. It's frozen. Okay, I think it's a network thing. Is it okay now, please? I see. You say it's frozen, but can you hear me now, please? Let me know that you can hear me, because I don't want us to miss out anything here. I want us to look at things critically, so that people can begin to understand the implication of Antonio Guterres, action and behavior, so that people can begin to understand it. Okay, it's okay. All right, good. Now I'm going to put this here because I want to have this critically on the platform, so that we can together. So let me put it this way, so that you can have me and at the same time have the what we're looking at here. Okay, right. It's okay now. Now, somebody said, I think, who is it? He said it is. He talked about their agenda. Emmanuel Obano says the agenda. Yes, when you talk about their agenda, first you look at the antecedents. That means from where they are coming, their lineage. 2, you look at their personality, which of course is that contains the details of their lineage. Then you look at their character, because there's a difference between personality and character. You look at their character. Then you look at their agenda, because their agenda tells you of their past, their history, their antecedents, and all of that. You look at their agenda. Now, all of these 4 points have reflected in how they operate. Now, if you look at their antecedents, you will see that from time immemorial, as early as the 17th century or the 16th century, they have been conquering and trying to conquer. They defeated the Hausa kingdom. So naturally, they are greedy people who want to steal other people's property. Antonio Guterres knows this. The United Nations knows this. Every of these nations know this. They all know that these guys are evil, and they lust after other people's possession. They all know that these people are hardened in their nature, in their personality, based on the kind of culture they operate. So when you look at their personality, it spells out their cultural procedure and behavior, the modus of life, modus vivendi. So which means that from their antecedents, you can tell the kinds of people they are. That is their personality. Their personality is what makes them, because their personality is a product of their culture and traditions. Their personality speaks more of their culture and traditions. Their personality exposes their culture and tradition. That is why they embrace Islam, because Islam tells more of their cultural behavior, their cultural procedure, their cultural attitude and actions. So which means by their cultural actions and all of that, Islam becomes the best for them, because it actually portrays their tendency to kill, their tendency to attack, their tendency to destroy, their tendency to take people's property, to take people's possession, to take what belongs to other people. So based on this, now we understand their antecedents and we understand their personality, because their personality is a product of their antecedents, which of course is based on their culture. We saw the likes of Osman Danfodio, who actually showed this as a huge example, even if he was not the only person. There were other people also in that line. They are all part of this. Now, we can now tell the kinds of people, their personality from the antecedents. Because from the antecedents, they have been people who always are so greedy and selfish, and so they are people who are concerned about taking their covetous. They want to take other people's things. They are covetous. They want to take your thing, what belongs to you. They want to take it. Antonio Guterres knows this. Every of the nations of the United Nations, they know this. Yet Antonio Guterres promised and pledged that he will support, meaning that the United Nations will support the reintegration of this flawed mindset of people. Remember, their behavior. Achio, oh my God. We'll talk about that later, my brother. We'll talk about that later. You know, because I just want to give this now. I'm so angry about what's going on in our society. Please send your messages, send them so that I will refer to them later. I'm going to look at the messages and then we're going to talk. I'm going to analyze, because of course, once it's 1 hour precisely, I'll go to the messages. And then, so I want to quickly say what I have to say. We have 36 minutes now, 37 minutes. So I want to quickly say what I have to say so that I'll be able to then concentrate on the messages. So just send the messages, because of course, your messages are important. You know, they help me also. Now, Antonio Guterres, who is the Secretary General of the United Nations, in that capacity, cannot tell me that he doesn't understand what it means to analyze situations critically. Because before you are chosen as a United Nations Secretary General, you are supposed to be a professional, at least to a level. You are supposed to be sensitive, and you're supposed to be a very sensible person. So by the context of his position as the United Nations Secretary General, he came into a system where he has track records of these Fulanis from the time even before the Biafra war. He is an elderly man, so which means he was even around when the war was happening in Biafra land, when the genocide happened, taking place in Biafra land. Because I know he's elderly. He's aware of that. He has information of the Fulanis. He knows the details of the Fulanis. He knows things about the Fulanis. But yet, Antonio Guterres came into the zoo or into Nigeria contraption, as learned as he is, as critical as his position is, as important as his personality is, based on the fact that he's the Secretary General of the United Nations. He said with his voice and with his mouth, written by the Zeus radio and other platforms, even BBC wrote it and all of that, they all wrote it. BBC also publicized it, that he is supporting the reintegration. What does it mean to reintegrate? To bring back, or to give them, to bring and give them the status that you actually feel that they occupied or they actually have initially, and that was taken from them. Now, in the first place, they were integrated into the Hausa kingdom. They were not integrated into the Hausa kingdom. They forcefully conquered the Hausas and turned the name of their nation, Gobert, to Sokoto, and installed emirs, and have been installing emirs since then, which means that they were not integrated. They forcefully took the people's sovereignty. Now, Antonio Guterres is talking about reintegrating the Boko Haram. Number one, we understand that these Boko Haram people, which the Nigeria government confirmed and which they all know, are Fulanis coming from the Sahel, coming from Somalia, coming from Niger, coming from all those places. They are not indigenous to Nigeria. Fulani had never been indigenous to Nigeria, or that's area that they call Nigeria. They have not been indigenous to any nation in that contraption. They actually conquered the Hausa kingdom and began to take the narrative Hausa Fulani to make it look like they are part of the system. Antonio Guterres is supposed to know this. Yet he talked about reintegrating when they were not initially integrated. Is it that he doesn't understand what it means to reintegrate? You cannot reintegrate when there had not been a previous integration. Remember, the Fulanis had never been integrated into that contraption or in the Hausa kingdom. They have never been integrated. The Fulanis are the ones who make up the Boko Haram. They are the ones who make up the ISIS in ISWAP in Africa, West Africa, and all of that. They are the ones who make up all of these dangerous, evil, and from the antecedents, Guterres can tell that these people are bloodthirsty people by their behavior, because their personality has proven that by antecedents. So he now knows, of course, he knows about the Abuja Declaration. He knows about the agenda. He hears them speak. He listens to the videos when they publish, when they are cutting the necks of people. He hears them speak. They speak their agenda. They speak their program. They speak what they have come for. Antonio Guterres says that these people whom they call repentant, even if he's supposed to be a professional, knowing that these people it is part of a tactics to actually get them into the system so that they can destroy from within. Antonio Guterres knows that this is the tactics. That is why they call them repentant. He knows this because if you say people are repented and they are not indigenous to the nations, Antonio Guterres knows what it means to be part of a nation. He knows what it means to have boundaries. The United Nations always come into these kinds of issues when you talk about boundaries and all of this, which means that if you are going to talk about Fulani being part of the system, then you should know that they are not part of it, because in the first place they conquered the nation, the Hausa Kingdom, and took it by force, destroying their sovereignty. So by boundary, they have extended, they have gone beyond their boundaries. They have extended their boundaries to the Hausa Kingdom. Now that they have extended their boundaries to the Hausa Kingdom, how come you are now taking that forceful invasion of Hausa Kingdom as an integration program? Because you are now talking about reintegration when there had never been an initial integration. There had never been an initial integration. You are talking about reintegration. What is your plan, Antonio Guterres? Why would you support reintegration when there was an illegal invasion, illegal invasion? It was not an integration, it was invasion of Hausa Kingdom. The Hausa Kingdom was invaded. United Nations have not said anything about that. United Nations have not defined that. We have not come to talk about that. They have pretended it has not existed. They still came, Britain still came, gave these people power to control indigenous nations. Oh my God. Aru gave these people power to control indigenous nations. That means the United Nations is in support of the conquest of the indigenous nation in the contraption. Because if they were not in support of the conquest, they would not give power, sovereign power, or political power to people who have invaded. Now, there are other Fulani henchmen who are in the Sahel, Somalia, Niger, and all of it, started coming in with AK-47, which evidently is a sign of invasion, another sign of invasion from the one they did to the Hausa Kingdom. Evidently, this is a proof of invasion. They were coming in during the COVID time, more during the COVID time. That doesn't mean they have not been coming in. They have been coming in. During the COVID, they were pouring in more because the road was clear, the coast was clear. Antonio Guterres, who is supposed to have intelligence reports and information about what is going on based on the fact that they have their people all over, knows about these details. We have been talking about it. IPOB has been mentioning it. The Nigeria contraption have been hiding it. We have been mentioning it, saying it online. We have been texting in United Nations. We have been tagging them. We have been mentioning all of these details. They are getting our messages. They are getting our mails. They are getting everything from us. They have got documents from us written of the issues happening in the zoo or in Nigeria. They have all this information. Yet he could say that you have to reintegrate. He's supporting reintegration. That means allow these people who have come with AK-47 into your land. They are supposed to be indigenous to you, which means they are supposed to have been. What you are saying is that the initial invasion of the Fulanis was not an invasion; it was an integration. So now these ones that have come to join them with AK-47, obviously when somebody comes into your land with weapons, it simply means that that person have come to attack you. Antonio Guterres says, reintegrate these ones into the system. Small wonder why we have so many of them in the military. Because Antonio Guterres has endorsed the recruiting of terrorists, calling it reintegration program, because initially there had not been any initial integration program. The initial program that happened which happened to the Hausa Kingdom, which of course the final conquest was done in 1803, 1806, and 1807 on thereabout. All that time they were conquering them. That was a conquest. That was invasion of the Hausa Kingdom. It was not an integration program. So how would Antonio Guterres now come and say that he's supporting reintegration when there had never been an initial integration? How can you reintegrate people who had never been integrated? How can you reintegrate people? We're talking about nation. We're talking about something as critical as nation. We're talking about something as important as nationhood. Nation represents a group of people that are culturally having a tie by culture. When God began the issue of dividing the nations of the world, he began with cultural approach. He cut them by language. Language is a tool of culture. Language is a tool of culture. God gave them languages different from one another so that they can go and occupy their own part of the land and become a people or a nation. Fulani invades the Hausa Kingdom and forcefully converts them into their own style of operation using their own cultural values. They have now initiated them to begin to look violent and to begin to go about violence with them. And now you are now saying that that conquest of the Fulani against the Hausa Kingdom was an integration, because that is the only line we can link it to, because we have not seen any other thing you're going to link it to. So, which means that for the fact that the Fulanis entered in in 16 something and 17 something, to the time when they started conquering in 18 something, 1803, 1806, and all of that. By the time they started conquering at that time, you have already said that that conquest is it was not an invasion, it was an integration program. That means the Hausas brought them in and welcomed them. Well, you can say that anyways, because it was the Hausa peasants that were manipulated using culture and social revolution by Usman Dan Fodio. He manipulated them to believe in the religious style and practice he was bringing to the people or bringing into the system. But you cannot say that, because by nationhood and by law or by status or by statutes, let me not say by status, by statutes of law, the Hausa nation had never, that means the government of the Hausa nation, never formally endorsed them and took them in. They accepted them as people who are foreigners into their land, just like anybody could accept anybody as a foreigner to their land. You can accept them to come into, just like we have Biafrans living in the United States, living in Australia, living in different places, including the Muhammad Abbas living in Kuwait. That doesn't mean that they are only integrated, they're only accepted into the system to work and do business and live their life. But they are not the owners. But this time around, the Fulanis came in, conquered the Hausa Kingdom, dislodged the government, and installed their own government. That is invasion. That is not reintegration. That is not integration. That is conquest. That is invasion. So when people invade, you now come to tell us that that invasion is an integration program by telling us now that you are supporting, you are supporting for the reintegration, for repentance. Oh my God, Boko Haram fighters. Now look at this. Look at these heavy words. These are fighters in the first place. They are fighters. You know their mission. You know their agenda. You know their modus. You know what they have come for. You know their program from the time of. You even know about the issue of them saying they are going to dip the Quran in the sea. Antonio Guterres said he is supporting the reintegration of these fighters. He didn't call them terrorists this time around. He called them fighters. What are they fighting for? That's the big question. What are they fighting for? That is the big question. Antonio Guterres, can you tell us what they are fighting for? because that is where the agenda is hidden. That is where the details of the agenda can be talked about. So, Anthony Guterres, you say you are supporting Boko Haram fighters, repentant. On what basis do you define repentance in this context? How do you define repentance in this context? Very, very critical. America as a world power, if the principle of repentance is defined in the context of what United Nations Secretary General is talking about here, how come America does not see it as a good, very unique principle to have adopted, so that somebody like Osama bin Laden would have been, and those ones they have killed, the Al-Qaeda heads and all the people they are killing, telling us that they are strong figures of Al-Qaeda and other ISIS and all of that. They have been killing all this while. How come America has not imbibed such kinds of people and say they are reintegrating them into their system to help them in their military tactics or to help them to get a better society? How come America, as vast and as powerful America is, they have not imbibed that tactics? They have not absorbed that technique. They have not taken into consideration this strategy that Anthony Guterres is supporting in a country, or in a so-called country, which of course we know the zoo or Nigeria is not a country, in a so-called country that is not even developed, that does not even have the capacity to actually have a very formidable military, that does not have well-trained people. We have illiterate. You see military men, they don't even know what they're left to right, left from their right, and all of that. How come that the United Nations or the United States or the Britain and all of these nations, in spite of the fact that they are so powerful and they have strong military, might, very strong military might, and yet they didn't adopt this strategy that Guterres is supporting in a so-called country that is not as powerful as these nations? If this tactics is workable according to what he has said, is very, very formidable and workable, how come USA, Britain, Germany, and all of these nations how come they have not adopted this strategy of reintegrating, in quotes, of repentant ISIS, repentant Al-Qaeda, repentant Al-Shabaab, repentant all those terrorist organizations in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and all of this? How come even the so-called Taliban, the US, even could not adopt their practice, even to the point that the US, in spite of the fact that the US have actually accepted and allowed them to take over power? But yet, as of today, there's an issue. I'm going to be talking about that, in Iran, the issue in Iran. I'm going to talk about the issue of the Taliban right now. Of course, you have heard the news. Most of you have heard the news. I'm going to analyze it in another program of the news of they stopping the ladies or the girls in Afghanistan who paid for an exam, university exam, to further their education. And the day of the exam, they were refused to enter. They said it is not for women. After they have paid, oh Lord have mercy. I'll talk about that in another program. Now let's read this. Let's read this. I want to read this. I want to read this document. Let's read further. Reintegration. Is it that this man doesn't know what it means to reintegrate? Now let's look at it. The Secretary General made the promise. That means made the pledge. He is promising when he paid a courtesy to Borno State Governor Babagana Zolom or Zulum, whatever he's called, at the government house, Meduri. This is the same place they have many IDP camps. The governor have not done anything. He has not called a state of emergency to make sure that they withdraw, they dislodge all these fighters and make sure that the people get back their land. But yet they are admitting, reintegrating the terrorists that have put these people and displaced them. They have not restored these people back to their land, but they are given amnesty, reintegration, not even amnesty, reintegrating those people who put these people in IDP camps into the system. Remember, these people have taken over the farmlands of these people that they have displaced. Oh, let's go to the next paragraph. The war against Boko Haram insurgency has, in the last 1 year, assumed a different dimension with the mass surrendering of fighters and members of their family. Mass surrendering. How come it is a mass surrendering? Who gave them info, or who gave them the concept or the idea of surrendering? How come they are doing this mass surrendering, and nobody, their leaders or their fighters or their heads in their terrorist organization is not saying anything about it? They are not doing anything about it. They, en masse, they are surrendering. Don't you think it's a program that had been agreed with the government of Nigeria and the terrorists? Don't you think so? Now let's read further, because I have so many things to say, and I don't want this broadcast to actually, go to another time. Maybe if we're not able to finish it today, we're going to look at it, because I want this message to go to Anthony Guterres. So let's go. So far, more than 50,000 combatants and non-combatants have surrendered to authorities in Borno State and are currently undergoing rehabilitation. Oh my God. More than 50,000. More than 50,000 have surrendered. How can you have mass surrendering of terrorists like this, and you think there is not somewhere, a compromise somewhere, where some people at the top are dictating the pace of what is happening between the Nigeria contraption and the terrorist organizations? You think that more than 50,000 will surrender without a compromise reaching at the top? It's not possible. There is always a compromise at the top. Now, more than 50,000 people surrendered. Anthony Guterres didn't ask the question, how come over 50,000 people are surrendering? Who is influencing their surrender? Because there is nothing in the zoo or in Nigeria that should influence their surrender, unless they have been promised something that goes according to their agenda, which means that there is a compromise between the Nigeria government and the terrorist organizations. How do we know this? When you come to Biafra land, where all these 50,000 people have been sent to kill the indigenous people, the people were sent into the military, remember? Now they have been sent to Biafra land, and the military, their foot soldiers are fighting. Their foot soldiers are fighting. Their men, their state actors, those ones put in the military, are also fighting the indigenous people. So now, look at it critically. 50,000 repented. Guterres didn't ask, how come 50,000? Where are these 50,000? Where are they put? In the military? How come it is these same people that are sent to the east? Why can't the people who are, if you say that the military is not an accomplice, the Nigerian government is not an accomplice, how come they cannot take or recruit their own citizens who are military people in that part of Biafra to safeguard, because they know the terrain, they know how to. If you think that the Biafra people are the trouble or they are the ones killing, which the impression you are given, how come you are not using their own people? Why are you sending terrorists into their land? Why is it that their foot soldiers, those ones in the bushes, have supplies with military helicopters? Nigerian military helicopters. How come that when the indigenous people want to secure themselves, to get rid of these killers in their bushes, killing their men, killing their women, cutting the heads of their people, the same military will come to attack the community? These are critical questions that Guterres, who is supposed to be a professional representing United Nations. Fela said, who and who unite for United Nations? That tells you that the United Nations is part of the recruitment of these people into the military to invade the land of Biafra. I am making this allegation, and I want this video to go to them and go far. Let's read on, because I want us to look at this. Over 50,000 terrorists. Over 50,000 terrorists. My God. Over 50,000 terrorists. Let's go further. This unprecedented act, they call it unprecedented act, has attracted global attention, and the United Nations Secretary General is personally leading a delegation to assess the situation. That means personally leading a delegation of members of the United Nations to look at the process and assess the program, assess the situation of what is on ground, to see how these ones who have been reintegrated will fit in the agenda and the program, how effective they can be in getting this agenda completed. That's what it means. That's what it means. That's what it means. That's what it means. Oh my God. I don't know whether you guys are thinking in the line. First, the first issue here is this. Anthony Guterres talked about reintegration of Boko. Oh my God. You know, he called the name Boko Haram rather than calling them what they are, Boko Haram terrorists. Remember, if you talk about Boko Haram, you're talking about others to ISIS and all of that. They all come from the same source. Now, he didn't mention them as terrorists. Here, they didn't mention them as terrorists. They mentioned them as fighters. Now, the big question is, if they are fighters, what are they fighting for? They should have an agenda. Nobody fights without an agenda. Everybody fights, or those who fight for a purpose. Either your ego has been, been punched or hurt, or you want to forcefully take something, or you actually are attacking and the person resists and there's a fight, or there's something about your fighting that makes sense to you and that does not make sense to the other person, or somehow you are actually trying to take advantage of something. Anthony Guterres, who is supposed to be a professional, Leonard, leading United Nations, global nations of the world nations, is supposed to ask the critical question: who are these fighters and what are they fighting for? What is their antecedents? Who are they? What is their intention and motive? he never asked those questions, but rather he accepted the fact to build or to gather a delegation from the United Nations to go and assess the situation. Assess. You know what it means to assess? It goes beyond just accessing. You access because he came in and he assessed the situation. He now assess. That means they're going to look at it and they're going to, he's giving his support after the assessing of the situation, which means that he has looked at it and it is right to bring in terrorists and bring them into the society through a sham program of rehabilitation. This sham program of rehabilitation actually is not a real rehabilitation program. It is a program that defines their inculcating or their streamlining the agenda of the Fulanization program in relation to societal or social design. That means from the agenda now, these ones are coming into the society in the name of repentance, but they are going to harness the opportunity and they're still going to try to implement, they are going to implement and make sure they enforce this program of the Fulanization of course, Abuja Declaration and all of these details. That's why I told you I'm going to talk about Abiola tomorrow, because I'm going to link all of these to the Accord of 1989 Declaration and all of these issues happening. So which means that when these people are reintegrated, now remember, in the process of reintegration, it simply means that you give them value and rights of operation in the society. In the context of reintegration, that means they actually had rights. They actually had rights in the society. And along the line, something happened and they lost it. And now you are bringing them back to occupy and take that position they have in the society. What position does the Fulani have that you want them to take again, or you want them to be given again? That links us to what happened to the Hausa nation, the Hausa kingdom. In the Hausa kingdom, they conquered, they invaded, but Antonio Guterres calls it integration. Now it has to spread all over the nations in the contraption, because they are assuming, or Antonio Guterres and others, they are not assuming, they believe that that particular invasion, which they call integration, represents a total package for the contraption Nigeria. Because you know why? Britain gave them power under the auspices of the fact that what they did initially was right. And the program of integration was appropriate in the context of invasion. Which means that as soon as they conquered the Hausa kingdom, even if they had not conquered Biafra land and Oduduwa land directly, they are in charge of Oduduwa land and Hausa land, and Biafra land by implication. That means as much as they are in control of the Hausa nation, it is taken to be an integration. And that means for the other aspects of the nation, which is the Biafra nation and other nations, they are also integrated automatically, even if they have not conquered physically. So to actually give them the right to conquer physically, you must accept the fact that they are integrated by the singular program of dislodging or let's say conquering the Hausa nation. So since the Hausa nation has been conquered, you are implying now that the conquest is an integration program and it applies to all other aspects of the nation in the name contraption, which means as long as you are called Nigeria, you are also part of the program that integrated Fulani. By implication, as long as you call yourself Nigeria, It is an automatic adoption of the fact, or an automatic consent you are given to integration of Fulani in your community or in your nation. So that's program that the United Nations called integration, which actually is the invasion and the conquest of the Hausa nation, is automatic on any nation that is under the contraption Nigeria. So when you see them advancing, the advancing is justified by the fact that the integration program, which is actually an invasion program, is adopted by the United Nations to imply on all territories in that name Nigeria. If you don't break Nigeria, you don't have a right to resist Fulani, because they are already part of the society by integration, based on the Fulani, based on the United Nations idea. So when Guterres now says he supports reintegration, it simply means that by there's a particular word, it came to my mind now, but it's gone. Oh my God, help me to remember. By virtue of the fact, I don't remember now, but let me put it another way. By virtue of the fact that you are Nigeria, Fulani must receive or get that right in your land by reintegration, which connotes or represents or is figurative of what happened to the Hausa kingdom when they conquered the Hausa nation and the rights they had by that conquest. And that is evident by the fact that the Queen of England gave them the power in 1960 to control Nigeria. It installs automatically that integration mandate. It puts them on that right and legal, in quotes, plan of UK, which is one of the force of the United Nations, as a control mechanism and force on the indigenous people in that empire that they have created called Nigeria. So as long as you keep accepting Britain's name, Nigeria, you are part of that integration program that Fulani enjoys. So when they are coming to your land to invade and kill, they need to enforce. Remember, Britain forcefully allowed or forcefully brought together the nations. Fulani forcefully took the Hausa nation, and it is called integration. Britain forcefully puts the nations together and amalgamated them and called them Nigeria outside your will. And if they would actually endorse the integration of Fulani based on the fact that by automatic means or by implication, the Fulanis belong to your land and have equal rights with you, or even have more rights because of the power bestowed on them by the British, then you cannot resist them when they come for your land or come to your nation to conquer you. That is why no media house, CNN, BBC, the zoo of Nigerian stations does not say anything when people are killed in Biafra land. Is it surprising to you? Because it is originally a program of integration and reintegration. Because in the first instance, they have been integrated and given the power. They are supposed to control you because the Queen gave them the right of control. So anybody the Queen gives the right of control is actually your controller or is actually your authority. So if the Queen has given them that right, you have no right to stop them. That is why we say we are insisting there will be no election in Biafra land. We are insisting that Nigeria will never stand. Britain cannot keep it. We are insisting that we must dissolve Nigeria because it keeps us in that status of stooges of Fulani, and it makes Fulani controllers of the indigenous people, and it gives them the right to come into our land to kill us. And when they kill us, BBC does not say anything. International media don't say anything. Nobody comments on it. Rushak, what's the name of Rushak? What's his name now? Of the Prime Minister of UK, does not say anything about it. The US President does not say anything about it. Russia does not say anything about it. Ukraine does not say anything about it. Germany does not say anything about it. All of these nations don't say anything about it. You know why? They don't need to say anything about it because they are looking at you to see whether you will accept this narrative of reintegration. Oh my God. Oh my God. If we allow this nonsense to continue, if we allow election, we are doomed for. And I want to tell you, we will never allow election. I want to tell the United Nations, you have endorsed, you have supported reintegration of fighters whose motive you know, but you pretend not to see. But we're telling you that we're going to end Nigeria and end your impunity. No wonder when we send you documents talking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu be in detention in that contraption you built and you supervise, and you are supporting reintegration of terrorists to take over the nations, you don't say anything about it. No wonder the United Nations, in spite of the fact that they had their session, they never said anything about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is a British citizen, a citizen of one of the powers of the United Nations, one of the permanent members of the United Nations. He is not a Nigerian citizen. You are angry because you expect him to hold a citizenship of a construct you made called Nigeria. And you want to keep us all in that minutiae, that detail designed by you. That's a minutiae compared to who we are as a nation. But we're telling you, Guterres and the United Nations, we are not afraid. We are speaking it. We are confident people. We are courageous people. Biafrans have made it a mandate. Please, I want everyone to like this video and share it far and wide and let it get to the United Nations. Biafrans, if you can cut this part and send it to Guterres. Biafrans have decided that we are going to end this impunity. You have assessed the situation and you have, the coast is clear for you to reintegrate terrorists, and that is why they are in our land killing us. That is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be kept there. That's why you are enforcing election. That is why you are doing what you are doing. But we are telling you that it won't work this time. We are telling you that it won't work this time. Please, somebody should confirm. Everest Emedo says no sound. Please, I want you to confirm, please, so that I can repeat what I said, because I want this to go into record and the United Nations to have this record. Please confirm if there's sound. If there's no sound, please, I want you to confirm, because I'm rounding off now so that I can read the messages here. Please confirm to me. I'm so angry in my spirit. Okay, good, good. There's sound. Okay, thank you so much. I'm so Everest, please check your system so that you can know whether it is from your system, or maybe you have to log out and log in, please. We attend the United Nations. You came to endorse impunity. A group of people, marauders, entered the Hausa kingdom, conquered them. You didn't say anything. You called it integration. You now came in 2022, over 100 years after the conquest of the Hausa Kingdom. You now say that that program of integration is still valid. And so you are supporting now that these fighters coming from Niger and other places must be reintegrated, in the sense that even those ones who were outside then that conquered the Hausa Kingdom are part of that kingdom by implication. That means you are saying that these fighters must take over the territory under the name Nigeria. And we're telling you, we're ending that name Nigeria in 74 days. It has cost us lives all these years. Under Ojukwu, it cost us lives of over 5 million people. It has cost us lives in our time, so that when we talk about sit at home, you come and kill people and you bring up the narrative. It is because of your sit at home people have been killed. But when we're raising flags and all of that, you were killing us. You were killing us. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu even said they are killing my people when he was arrested in 2016 or 2015. He said they are killing my people. He mentioned it there. Then we were carrying flags. He said they are killing my people. And you want to try me secretly. Now you were killing us when we were carrying flags. Now we carry weapons to defend ourselves. You are telling us now that we are the ones killing ourselves. That means you stopped killing us when we carried weapons. We now started killing ourselves. You are telling us now that we are killing ourselves now that we carry weapons to stop you from killing us, from carrying out this reintegration program. That is why we carry the weapons. Because you want to reintegrate people into a system that will never endorse their integration. Are you going to talk about Biafrans who are in the United States, for instance, and say that when we carry AK-47 and enter into the United States, you now tell us that now that you come into it and Guterres and you come and tell the United States government that they have to reintegrate the Biafrans in their own nation? When in the first place, they actually opened their doors for them to come in. In this context, the United States opened their doors for us to come in as immigrants. Now, after that, some of us now carry weapons into the United States. I'm just giving an instance. And then we start fighting. We want to conquer the United States. And then Guterres now comes into the United States and says, we're supporting the reintegration. That means the first integration they gave to us, which is, of course, we know it's integration because this time around they accepted us into it. We went with visas, we went with documents, so they accepted us. But the issue of the Hausa Kingdom, they never entered with visa, they never entered with any document. They went with weapons, they killed the people, they killed their kings, they killed their leaders, and they took over their nation. And you are calling it integration. Can Guterres have the boldness to come to the United States, seeing us carrying weapons, for instance, and say we want to take over the United States? And he will come there and say, to the United States president that you have to reintegrate these people who have brought weapons to kill you. You have to give them rehabilitation and reintegrate them. Wouldn't he come there and say, everybody who is a Biafran, send them out of that land? Kill them and send those ones who will send them out. That's what he will say. But because we are Africans, Guterres came into our land and gave a statement that is the highest level of madness, the highest level of unprofessionalism, the highest level of impunity. The statement of Anthony Guterres is the highest level of proof of an accomplice, complicity, and the highest level of someone who has that kind of position, the highest level of blunder that person can make. But this is not a blunder. This is intentional blunder. This is deliberate. Who makes that kind of statement? That you rehabilitate killers whose antecedents you know and whose agenda you know. He has information about the Abuja Declaration. He knows about it. He knows about the funding of Fulanization program. We have sent documents to them several times. He is having access to all of these documents. If we don't destroy Nigeria, I bet you the United Nations will aid them until they decimate us. And all these people who are carrying fires everywhere, telling us that's not how to do it. That's not how to do it. There's a way we do these things. All this World Igbo Congress, I'm still going to have a statement. I'm going to have a broadcast for you guys. But I want to tell you, Biafrans will not take it. Antonio Guterres, that situation that you have assessed, that is your business. But for us, Biafrans, we cannot accept any integration, not to talk about reintegration. We have not even integrated in the first place. So if you are counting that as integration, the fact that we have accommodated them in our place, we have allowed them to do business, if you count that as integration, and then you now say we have to reintegrate them by accepting fighters, which means that initially those ones that we accepted are actually fighters in your mind and in your program. They are actually there to spy on behalf of these other ones. They are part of the fighters because you only reintegrate people who were initially part of you or who initially were part of a particular program. You reinitiate them or reintegrate them into that program. So when you talk about reintegration, you are actually endorsing a former integration. That means what you are telling us, Antonio Guterres, is that those Fulanis who have been working in our land were actually killers who we mistakenly integrated. Because now you are telling us to reintegrate these killers and fighters. That means they were actually fighters, but they came in sheep clothing. They actually came subtly into our midst, stealthily walking in and making us endorse them as people we can do business with. Your intention or your original program and your original thought is that you know they are fighters, but we admitted them into a system. So you are now saying we should reintegrate. That means more of them are coming in. We should reintegrate all of them because initially we have integrated killers and fighters, which we never knew they are. And now you're making us believe now that they are. Oh. I don't know if anybody wants to call in. Maybe I'm going to give you, maybe you share your thoughts in this regard. Maybe you have something to say. You just want to say something. You can call in. Let me give you the number. If you want to call in, let me just do it because in the next 30 minutes or in the next 15 minutes, I want us to round off this because I'm so angry inside of me. Maybe I'm going to speak still because I've not finished reading that document. I reading it alone is just irritating me. You can call. The number is scrolling on the screen. You can see it there. Just keep watching the scrolling. You'll see the number +212. And expect us, please, anytime you just write this number. So anytime you can call in with the number. +212 707 898 194. +212 707 898 194. I want to tell Biafrans, you see all those Fulanis that are in our land, by this singular statement that they have made here, talking about, let me put it, maybe I should make it a bold screen so that you can see well. It means that the people we have been housing are part of the killers. The people we have been housing in Biafra land are part of the killers. How else will you talk about? Is it that Guterres don't understand what it means to reintegrate? Or you think they made a mistake by that language? If you are telling us to reintegrate fighters, you didn't ask what are they fighting for. And you said reintegrate these people. It simply means that initially we were housing them and you in your thoughts actually knew that they were fighters. But you pretended you didn't know And now you are talking about reintegrating them. You have exposed your initial knowledge that you didn't actually want to reveal. That's what it means. Please like this video, forward it to on all your social media platforms, send it far and wide. Let it get to the United Nations, let it get to the United States, let it get to Britain, let it get to all these world powers, these nations. If you have to cut some part of it to send to them, let's send it to them. Let them hear this message. Because we know their plans. We're not daft. We know their plans. We know we are smart. Let me take this call. You are live on Biafra Global Network, and we have been talking about the critical evidence of United Nations aiding killing of Biafrans. They have killed us enough. Please go on. We can hear you loud and clear.
Good evening, my brother Mike.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Like everything is fine. Thank you.
What I have to suggest or what I have to say about this. This man is saying the integration of this herdsmen or this Boko Haram.
Yes.
Maybe let them reintegrate them to the north. Not have enough land, enough space to accommodate them. Since they have conquered north, let them, this brutalists, let them help to divide Nigeria. Give part of that northern part to them. Let them rule themselves. Let Biafra say their own. Let Oduduwa say their own.
My sister,
can it be possible to
my sister, the truth
is that Nigeria must be one. How can Nigeria be one when they know that they amalgamated Nigeria and they say that after 100 years we are free to be?
My sister, you know what? The truth is
100 years since
yes.
2014. It has passed 100 years. Why can't they put it in their head to say, okay, let the Fulani, let the Hausa, let them remain with their own country. We don't care. But to occupy the whole country that Nigeria is more than 3 countries or 4 countries in one. How can one ethnicity Fulani come to conquer every part? It's not possible. It cannot be possible.
What will make it possible is that name, Nigeria. Once we sustain that name, because the integration program was for that name, Nigeria. So any part of the contraption, the nations that accept the name Nigeria automatically belongs to that program or is part of that program of integration. And that is why if we don't cut it off...
They say that a nation they call Nigeria has been expired. Since it has been expired,
that is it.
Why can't we gather together to settle everything? Everybody go to their own path. So that
do you know why they are not going to talk about the expiration? Because they have been benefiting from the system. So they will keep quiet on it unless we do something about it. They will keep quiet on it. They will keep pretending as if they have not know, they don't know it has expired because they are benefiting from it. That is why we are taking this drastic action. Anybody supporting election now is wicked and is an enemy. This we must stop Nigeria in the next 74 days according to the program. It's a mandate. Everybody must be part of.
It's a written mandate. The first of all, let us start. If it's possible, as I have dreamed this early morning, how they captured Imo State Governor, Hopeful for danger. They really killed him in my dream. Oh, I was so happy when I woke up. I was so happy that at least one governor has been put down. Assuming this my dream will come to manifest. Because all these governors in the eastern part of Nigeria, or eastern part of not Nigeria, Biafra land, have to put down. They have to be eliminated so that maybe Peter and their co will run away and leave us alone. Because Peter is not a Biafra. He said that you don't vote me, that I'm not, mistakenly he was born as the Igbo man, but he's not an Igbo man. That's what Peter said in his mouth. Why people can't reason? Why people can't, oh God of mercy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. In fact, it's so painful. Thank you so much. I am really delighted for your contribution.
We keep on moving.
Yes, we'll keep on, and Chukwueke will help us. Yes, we're going to. Yes, we're going to. Thank you so much. I'm delighted. Yes, of course, of course, of course. Thank you so much. I'm delighted. Thank you. Let me take the next call. Yeah, God bless you too. Thank you so much. Let me take the next call. Let's get your thoughts too. Let's get the thoughts also. You are welcome to the program live and direct on Biafra Global Network.
Hello.
You are live. Please go on.
Hello.
You are live. Yes, my brother. You are live. Go on, please.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning over here. I just want to make a contribution.
All right, please.
My name is Tijani. I'm calling from the United States.
Okay.
You know, I've been following all what has been happening back home in Nigeria, Kisu, and I've been following our Samonepa and some other agitators. And I barged into your live this morning, and I made a comment. I said, kudos to you with the analysis. I like the way you analyze how everything in Nigeria has been. You analyze it, and I grabbed some important thing from there. And I see that, so this is what the United Nations has been doing to generally all the indigenous people in Nigeria, not just only Biafra.
That's it.
So with all this being said by you, I think this is the right time. Election must be stopped at all costs. Obi should go and look for one place to sit down, because those people, they are only there for their own interest. And I see people in Nigeria, I see them as if they are in darkness. They've not seen light. Yeah, people back in Nigeria are in very big darkness. They really need to see light. They really need to see what we are in the diaspora are saying. They are not saying it. You know, they've impoverished people. They've made them to the extent that what they are supposed to see as white, they see it as black. So my comment, my own advice I'm going to say is that like the days have been counting, so like about 74 days to go.
Yes.
Election has to be ceased. Election has to be stopped in every part.
That's right.
In every part of Nigeria. In short, election has to be stopped, because these people, they really want to put us in this demonic, in this demonic settings with these Fulani. These people are marauders. They're just coming from nowhere to come and kill people, destroy people, and they don't see how they keep people in any good, just about maybe 100 people or 35 people. They kill a lot of people and nobody is saying anything to it. So this what I'm going to add to it, that the government in the southeast, they need to be dealt with, because those people don't care about the people. They don't care about the lives of the people. They only care about themselves. So those people, they need to start dealing with them, because the United Nations itself is like they are caught. They are in support of all these things that is happening. Umari is just looking for a way to run to Abuja so that he can grab power.
That's right.
He gave power to all these people to make the Igbos to start killing themselves too. So something needs to be done, and I just want to encourage you, because I think I'm appreciating it that I'm seeing everybody coming out from every corner now to say their mind. I just came into your program today, and I'm going to encourage you to keep going, and by the grace of God, we're going to get to every back in that Zoom. We're going to have our own life in a better way, and the way we want to live our own life. Nobody's not going to control us.
Yes.
So I want to say thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you so much for joining. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for your contributions. You have just made some good vital points, and may Chukwueke bless you also. Thank you so much for joining. So you heard it. You heard it. We need to stop the election. For those who were calling, Amazing Grace, I think you're calling, and other callers, please, you can call in. We have a few time, maybe 10 minutes more, and then we can round off for today, 10 minutes more, because I have another meeting that has to do with Biafra assignment for Biafra. As soon as we're through here, it's in less than 30 minutes, it's going to start off. So I think, in fact, I'm even seeing the boss here that it seems the meeting is about kicking off. So I'm just going to give chance for two more calls, two more calls, and then we're going to go We're going to go on and all of that, and then we're going to end for today. And tomorrow we're going to be looking at, in this same light, but we're going to be looking at Abiola, why Abiola was killed, and it's going to be a powerful one tomorrow. I tell you, I assure you, tomorrow is going to be powerful. Get other people to be part of it and to join. Thank you so much for joining. You are live on Biafra Global Network. Please go on. Please go on. And before you go on, please let me say the number. Some people want to get the number. The number to call in is +212 707 898 194. One more time, I'll call it out. +212 707 898 194. All right, please, just please make it snappy, 2 minutes, so that we can see if we can take 2 or 3 more people, and then so we can close in time because I have a meeting, So please go on, please. You are live and direct all the way from UK. Thank you.
It's Nolan calling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my mind. I need to save your number so that I'll be able to know you whenever you call. Thank you so much, Noel. So please go on, please.
Yeah, the issue here that the so-called president invited the Fulani to come. So to them, they came in under an invitation. So now the only way they can even speak about them to come into the community is to say that they are terrorists. So because they are terrorists, now they've repented. So because they've repented from their terrorism, and the president invited them, so you cannot send them away.
That's it.
The only option you have is to integrate them back to the community. So as the other people have said, unless Biafra decides to accept Nigeria, then they can integrate them into Biafra land. But we are saying that we are not Nigerians. So let the president of Nigeria keep them in the Nigerian side of it and leave the Biafra land alone. If Oduduwa says they are still Nigerians, let them integrate them into Oduduwa. But provided you are not accepting that you are Nigerians, they cannot integrate them into Biafra land or into Oduduwa land. So that is the stand. So they all know, they are all criminals. They know exactly what they are doing. But because they know that the people they are poor, the poverty mentality will not allow them to understand what they are doing. That's why the only people who understood them very well are people that are abroad, that know their criminality and what they are doing.
Thank you so much, Noelin. Good. Thank you so much for that submission. I appreciate it very, very well. Delighted your submission. In fact, you have made a vital point, and of course, that is it. So certainly, we have to make sure they should. Those who want to be in Nigeria, they can continue to be in Nigeria. But for us, we are determined, and we're not going to be part of Nigeria. And it is a mandate that we fulfill. I have another caller. I wanted to go to the messages, but another call is coming in. We have. So please, you are live and direct on Biafra Global Network. Today's program, you're live on the program, Tide of Affairs. So please go on live. People can hear you now, live and direct. So please go on.
Okay, good morning. I am Archbishop of the Most High God. I'm calling from America.
All right, good to have you, Archbishop.
My thing is this.
Okay.
All the things you have been saying is true. All these world leaders, UN, whatever they are being called, they are very much aware of what is going on in Nigeria.
Very well.
But the fact remains this. The primary thing remains this. If we don't deal with Ohanese, politicians, and the elders, and the so-called intellectuals, I don't think we are making any headway. They are the people that are encouraging these terrorist Fulanis to invade us and to kill us. Their actions speak louder. They don't do nothing. It means that they have sold out. If we don't stand against Ohanese, governors, intellectuals,
and the elders. My brother, those UN, whatever, AU, and the whatever will not come to save us. We should save ourselves. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Oh my God, thank you so much for that brief one. Thank you so much, and that is the truth. We must save ourselves, and that is why we have people like us. Every one of us, we have what it takes. We must rescue. Thank you so much, my brother, Archbishop. Thank you so much for joining all the way from the United States. Thank you so much. Thank you. So you heard that. We must do it, and the mandate is on every one of us. So let me go to our messages now, so that I can actually get your thoughts here, and then we can now look at other things that we need to, and then we'll close. Remember, the fundraising is on Saturday. Please remember to be part of that fundraising on the 24th. Is it on Saturday? Yes, on 24th we have the fundraising. Very, very important. Stella just reminded me now. So please remember the fundraising holds, and it is very, very important, because we have to, just like the last caller said, we have to save ourselves. And we have to do what it takes with our funds, with our finances and everything. We have to do what we have to do. So thank you so much. Diana's message have been here for more than 1 hour here. Diana, wow. Good to see you. Kelechi, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Thank you so much, Diana. Good to have you here. We have Dollar Fox. Good afternoon, Biafrans. Thank you, Dollar Fox. Good to see you. You know, my culture is that my tradition is that I read out the messages, because I feel that you are part of it and we have to interact, you know. And from your messages, I get some other things to say. But today, the message, I'm just going to read them out. I'm not, because of time. And tomorrow, I'm going to continue on the narrative of what I see in the messages, and then also say more things. So please, Dollar Fox says, our problem are the elders, church leaders, and politicians from Biafra land. Yes, that's it. I'm going to be speaking more, and I have a major broadcast for them, particularly because we're going to be looking at critical things that concerns us. The killings are too much, and they are aiding these guys to kill us. Amechi Jones and Jonas, sorry, where have you been all this while? Good to have you. All hail Biafra. Thank you so much, Amechi Jonas. Good to see you here. John Ameda says, don't play, please. YouTube policy. Yes. I wouldn't play. I wanted to play that video, you know, cutting the necks of the people. Lord have mercy. It was horrible. I won't play it, my brother. I won't. Kevin Aposiano says, good afternoon, bro. Casey, thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you so much. Good to have you here. Amoku says, it is so disheartening that all these things are still happening in the 21st century. My anger is with our political leaders and traditional leaders and clergies. They are the ones who have the blame, and they are the ones we should hold responsible for all of these. You know, how many of them have you heard talk about what happened in Amamfu? Have they talked about it? Amamfu, have they said anything about it? Nothing. Edith Nedu says, Mazi, what is the solution to these killings of the Biafra people? I think we have talked about the solutions along the line of the preaching. So tomorrow I'm going to continue on that narrative. Obrizichi says, Mazi Kelechi, keep opening the eyes of Needle at this critical time. Let me pick this call. Let me pick this call from Amazing Grace, please. I have to pick it. So please, you're welcome live direct on Biafra Global Network, and on the program you're live. Please go on. Just please try within 2 minutes to round off so that we can go on other things. So please go on. You are live.
Okay. Good evening from Istanbul.
Good evening. Good evening. All the way from Istanbul. Thank you so much.
This is Oduduwa from Istanbul.
Wow. Good to have you, my brother. Good to have you.
Sometime last year, I was tackling this man guitarist when he came to Nigeria and said that the terrorists should be rehabilitated and I asked, why haven't they rehabilitated and reintegrated the terrorists in America?
Mm-hmm.
Why must it be in Nigeria? Mm-hmm. I tweeted him and he didn't respond. They all know what's going on in Nigeria, and especially emphasis Biafra land, because most of these world powers, they have interest in Biafra land, and with this is the natural resources that we have. But we cannot continue building this slavery, because if you're a Biafran in Nigeria, you're automatically a slave. One way or the other, you must be treated as a slave somewhere. Even the allies, the politicians, they're all slaves. But we don't want to be in this slavery anymore. For this reason, we say no election in Biafra. And for the allies that have refused to speak up against the annihilation of our people in Yamutu and the Ebonyi state, they should continue keeping mute. and they continue keeping mute, and they go to until they go to safety. That's all I have to say. No election, no political activity.
Thank you.
They
Thank
must
you so much.
release
Yes.
Nnamdi Kanu. They
Yes.
must renegotiate Nigeria,
Yes.
whether they like it or not. We will force them to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And on that, we all stand. Thank you so much for your contribution and airing your views here. And on that, we all stand. Thank you so much, my brother, all the way from Istanbul. Thank you. So I continue with the messages. Our people are in darkness and they are in denial. Yes, all these dishes, they are very, very well, very, very well. That's why we have to push the gospel, far and wide, so that we'll be able to have, rich and greater reach to get the message around. I'm here, Clement. Good to see you. Thank you so much, Clement. We're delighted to see you here. And we have Frozen. Okay, talking about then when the stuff got frozen. Emmanuel Obino says, and their agenda. Yes, you reminded me. You talked about the agenda too when I was analyzing the pointers, that needed to be considered when you want to look at some stuff before you take action. Very, very disturbing article. If we fail to be free with this time, our race will be in danger of extinction. Thank you so much, Amoko. That's it. Very, very, people have been seeing that article, just overlook it. But critical things, we need to deal with these things. And that's why I had to bring it up today so that we can look at it together and then get the message that is in it. Kingsley Oduduwa says it's okay. Talking about the sound, then, of course, it's not frozen. Talking about it's okay. So let me skip all those places. It's not frozen. It's good. Greetings, Smart Kelechi and Autopilot IPOB. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the message. We have Dr. Rubin Nadi. Good morning, Kelechi. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor. Good to see you here. Good to see you here. Good to have you here. Thank you so much. Achille says, from your speech, I have discovered that you are an academic. Thank you so much, my brother. It is we have to use our skills to actually do what we have to do. Thank you so much for identifying that. And of course, I have to use it to serve Biafra to see that we have results. Ugochi Judith, greetings, Casey. Thank you, Ugochi. Good to see you here. I'm happy to have you here. Organization says the power that be are behind all this. The secret powers are from the Western world, especially US and UK, Europe. Yes, that's it. That's where the powers are. Let me not go out because it will make me to start preaching again. I wanted to say something now that will make me to start preaching. Kelechi, expose them. Kelechi, okay. You wanted to say Kelechi, okay. And Dr. Ruby says, Kelechi, expose them. They are wicked and greedy. God will continue to punish them. He said to that prayer. Honestly, it's so painful. And Chi Ebuka says, we don't want political solution in Biafra land. All we want is freedom of Biafra. That's it. How can you talk about political solution in this kind of situation when the mandate and the agenda is to kill you and take over your thing and your property and all of that? You're talking about political solution. How? The punishment will never end. He said, thank you so much, Dr. Ruby, for that. He said it will never end. It will never end. We have an organization, Kelechi. What you're saying is not what you're saying. Is deep. What is not what you're saying. Okay. Of course, it's very deep. Very, very deep. And tomorrow I'm going to go deeper into this matter. British dishes, they changed Gobir, that's G, Gobir to Sokoto after the conquest. That's it. That's what they did. They changed it. And that is part of the integration program. They call it integration. Chidex Aham says, good afternoon, Master Kelechi. Well done for your good job. Thank you so much, Chidex. Thank you so much. Time is against us. I need to go into the next meeting. So I'm just trying to hurry up this thing so that I can actually fulfill the agenda of making sure that I read the messages. Edith Kinedu says they are protecting their interest. That is it. Definitely they are protecting their interest. And we know that. And that's why we're going to get out of that contraption. Amoku says UN has always sided with every Islamic regime just for free oil and gas. And that's it. Always siding, supporting every time. That's why they are putting their people in UN to continue to keep the narrative going on. Noelin says they are all criminals, not just protecting interest. Yeah, they are criminals. That's why they keep protecting the interest, because they are criminals. John Almeida says Westerners go as far as stripping their citizens, regardless whether they are born there or not. That's it. They can go that far to do that, but yet, we know how evil they are. So we'll continue to deal with them and until we get our freedom. Obviously, she says this UN they set up after World War II is a toothless bulldog that can bark but cannot bite. It is set for their own selfish agenda. Honestly, set for their own selfish agenda. They don't care about what happens to the nations. They feel that it's not a priority to them. John Almeida says different rules for different people. Sad, very very sad indeed, my brother. Very very sad indeed. Noelin Adiambo says they are the invited Fulanis by so-called Buhari. Yes, that's it. That's it, by the so-called late Buhari. You know, Mark Chi, best channel. It's been a while. It's been a long time. Where have you been, Mazi Kelechi? Good evening. Thank you so much, Mark Chi. I've not seen you for a while. Good to have you here, Victor. Pastor Victor. Okay, very critical questions to UN Honorable. To UN. Yes, very, very critical question. Honestly, that question I asked initially to them, but they will not answer it. They'll pretend they've not seen. That's why I want this video to go to them. People must even to cut that part, let them hear it, so that we get to know what they're doing. We know what they're doing. You know, Achio says, people, please, I would like to pass message to you and possibly send you an audio message from Mufu. Please do that. You can pass it on that number, that WhatsApp number, +212 707 898 194 +2. You can see the number when it's scrolling on your screen too, so you can get it there. And then, of course, let's communicate. Then they will congratulate you. Thank you so much, Mr. Adazai, and thank you. So good to have you here. You know, good to see you again. Mark Chi, you say fighter. Fighting against who and for what purpose are they fighting? That's it. You say you are reintegrating fighters. What are they fighting for? That's the big question. But they'll pretend not to know. Good evening, Mazi Kelechi, Onyechi Floxy. Thank you so much, Onyechi Floxy, for that. And good evening to you too. Good evening, everyone. And everyone has taken the greeting and they have greeted you back to validate their actions. Yes, they try to validate their actions, you know, and all of that. Obviously, issue says UN agenda is no longer hidden. The globalists using the Fulani forbidden word T to depopulate the world, period. And that's it. Globalists carrying out their agenda. This is an abomination and it is totally unacceptable. We shall resist it with the last drop of our blood. That's it. That's it. We must resist it from our desire. And thank you so much, man, for that. God is your strength, and Mazi Kelechi, you are blessed of the Lord. Thank you so much, Mary Ike. Thank you. He say to your prayer, Richie Sunak, when I was trying to remember the name. Thank you so much, thank you so much. Thank you. So a message came in. So let me be fast so that I can go join the particular meeting. So good analysis from you, bro. Thank you so much, Tijani Micah. Tijani, my Oduduwa brother. I think Tijani. That name is Oduduwa. Thank you so much. Everest Emedo says no sound. Okay, when you were talking about no sound, okay. Mary Ike says, can UN members allow their nations be controlled by African nations as they do to African nations or Biafra nation? That is why we are insisting we are going to resist them. That is why we are going to resist them, and that's why we're going to resist them, because we know that if we don't do so, they will always take us for granted as they have been doing. That's why we're doing what we're doing now. Noelin Adiambo says, extremely good sound. Okay, you're talking about the sound now when we're talking about no sound. Okay. Edith Nedu also concurs that. You know, Adazan says their intention is actually for Fulanese to wipe out us all out because of the huge wealth which God has deposited in our land. That is the motive. I tell you, that is the motive. And that is why United Nations will tell you about reintegration. Who are we reintegrating, and who did we integrate before reintegrating? How can we integrate killers? We never integrated killers, but now they are making us believe that those people who have been with us in our land, Biafra land, and all this while, Oduduwa land and all these places, are particularly the killers and the fighters who have been integrated, but we never knew. Now they are telling us to reintegrate all of them. And we'll talk more on this tomorrow. Obviously, she says, he say to the prayers made then, of course, good sound, go on, my brother. Okay. Obiama, good to see you here. Elekwachi, thank you so much, my sister. Good to see you here again today. Mark Chi also says sound. The sound is good. Obviously, she says there's sound. Okay, good. Okay, so Adazan says in one breath, they claim to be fighting terrorists. In another breath, they are encouraging them. What a bunch of hypocrites. That's it. That's how they survive. It's Takia. The sound is perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, good. That's from Ozogo Ama. Obviously, she says, remember the magic word, Takia. That's what they use, integration rather than conquest. That's it. It's part of the program, Takia. You know, the T word for them, the magic word for them, Takia. T. You know, Mary Ike says, UN, if you love Biafrans, leave Biafrans to be independent nations, please. God have put you there to help Biafrans. Well, let's believe that God has put them there to help Biafrans, and that's what they're going to do. Because by the time we forcefully take what belongs to us, they will have no choice than to come to support us. Machi Best Channel, they after their interest. They don't care about the people, and that's the truth. They don't care about the people. It's not their concern. Biafrans need that freedom as you have freedom in your nations. That's it, Mary K. Thank you so much for that. Biafra needs the freedom as you have freedom in your nation. UN will never support Biafrans to continue to be killed. God is God who allowed their men to have their will, who allowed men to have their will. Okay, Mary K, thank you so much. God is God and nobody can change that. And my dad says you must remember that as darker skinned people, we are not regarded as human beings. And that's the truth. Check the policies, check the arrangements, check the treatment. We're not regarded because we have not done something that will make them regard us. And that is what we're doing in this time in Biafra issue. Solomon Azubike says we need Biafra, nothing more. Thank you so much, Solomon. Thank you so much for that message. Stella Uzuka says GCK, our own Kelechi. Thank you so much, Stella. Thank you so much. I will. Thank you. Ozogo. Ozogo. Is it Ozogo or Ozogo? Ozogo, I don't know how to pronounce it. Ama. But I know Ama. The same thing they done in Afghanistan. Yes, the same thing. I'm going to be talking about the Afghanistan template here, one broadcast. I have it in mind to do that. Uzamaka Nicola says, all hail Biafra. Yes, so all hail Biafra. UN free Biafrans. Please save Biafrans. Mary Kay, thank you so much. We have to send this message far and wide so that they will do the needful. Very true, Kelechi. Thank you so much, Stella Uzuka. Very true of the narrative. As Edith Nedu, you can't leave terrorists in your door. That's it. How can you, oh Lord have mercy. These people are so wicked. Clement, please pass this on. Can we paint the floor of Biafra land roads with Biafra flag and short bills message? Anything we need to do to make sure we stamp Biafra on the ground of Biafra land for the world to see and for them to carry out. Please, let's do it. However you do, anywhere you can stamp that name with the handbills, with paints. Anything you can do in your corner, just write something about Biafra. Make sure you stamp it there. Referendum now, free Biafra, United Nations. Referendum now, free Biafra, United Nations. Because they are all the ones struggling using Fulani to keep us down. Do it wherever you can do it in Biafra land. Tell them in Biafra land to do it also. My sister, the caller, it is not as easy as you think. Nigeria remains one because of the resources which God has deposited in our land. Okay, Adazan says that. And of course, it's not easy, but we will make it happen. JVM International Incorporated, perfect analysis. Thank you so much, JVM. It's been a while. I saw you, JVM. It's been a while, but good to have you today. My sister caller, not Sola. Okay, that's the spelling there. Okay, thank you so much. We have Ozogo Ama. They that was already integrated in the north, where everyone around the nationwide, okay, where everywhere around the nation. Okay, talking about those who have, yes, they are everywhere. That's truth. Thank you so much, my sister. And we have Make Cash Now. Amina Mohammed in United Nations is Fulani agents. Of course, that's why they are putting their people all over there. I don't believe they are praying to the black Madonna. I believe they are cursing her. Dorian Scott talks about they are praying to Madonna. Don't mind them. They are just Takia is the game. Takia helps lies. Takia is the game. Anything you see them do that actually dehumanizes other people is actually Takia, because they must make it look like real. Make Cash Now says phone number to call. Okay, I've sent the phone number, so you can also see it on the screen. We're rounding off now anyway, so we'll not be able to entertain calls, so please, I'm sorry about that. Tomorrow 4 p.m. Biafra time, be here. We'll continue strongly here. We'll continue, so please. Stella Arrow says remind them about fundraising. Okay, yes, I've done that. Please remember the fundraising on Saturday. Everyone. Diana Ogun Biade says all the politicians in the southern part of Nigeria are the enemies of their people due to their selfishness, wickedness, corruption, politics. They are all criminal-minded people. Okay, that's what you want to say. Okay, yes, they are all, and we know they are corrupt, and that's why we're not going to endorse Nigeria. Again, Clement says Peter Obi is yet to tweet on Mofu massacre, but tweeted on his Fulani slave master's death. That's how they do. We know them. We know them. We'll see how to land. They are trying us, but we'll tell them that we are the people and we know what we want. Okorie, Okereke, continue the good work, my brother. Thank you so much, Okereke. Thank you. I will. There's sound now. That was long ago. I said no sound. Okay, Everest, Emedo, okay. Okay, good. We have greetings, Master Kelechi. Mwokike Dabarichi, good to see you again here. Thank you so much, my brother. 74 days to go home. All must hail Biafra. Yes, so please, if you have not watched from top, go and listen from top. It was a powerful one, and we need to send a message far and wide to people who need to hear this. Dan Okafor says, please, can you send the website where I can pay for the common fundraising through my WhatsApp? Please just read the scroll on my page. Is www.ipobinusa.org/donate. It is scrolling on the screen. You can see it there. www.ipobinusa.org/donate. That's the website you can pay in. We should go ahead and go for our freedom by all means. Mary Kay, yes, so by all means we must go for our freedom. There is a grand conspiracy involving multinational oil companies, etc., against Biafrans. These people must be taught an unforgettable lesson. Adazan says, yes, so they have to be taught. In fact, the companies are representing these nations they actually come from. So we know all of that, and they will, whether they like it or not, get the message. We have an MDPHO, all countries kill terrorists, not rehabilitation. That's it. Even America, with the fact that they have vast military, they still kill terrorists. But us, they're telling us, rehabilitate them. Oh my God. HO says, save Fulani, serve Fulani and come back with shame. That's it. Mazin American have said it several times. Serve them and come back in shame. Freedom is not given but taken. Thank you so much, HO, for that. Freedom is not given. Fulani are for conquest. That is it. That is their agenda. Nobody, even Guterres knows, but he's not going to say it. Post it on United Nations LinkedIn account and social media. Yes, so please, anybody, please, let's all forward it to the account. If you forward it, I forward it. They will begin to see the message. They must watch it. They must watch it. So please, let's do it together. Please, I beg you all. Machi Best Channel. I have not been meeting up with your live programs, but I do watch it later. All right. Good. We're always here by 4 p.m. So please, you can always watch. Angel Dressy and Suits. This must be a tailoring outfit. God bless you all. God bless us all. Yes, so God bless us all. Thank you so much, Angel. Machi Semazi, you are doing a great job. God bless you. Ise, thank you so much, Machi Best Channel. Thank you so much. Taylor MB says, I'm here. Taylor, good to see you again today. Good to see you again. Thank you so much. To call me, Biafra must be freed. That's it. Biafra must be free. Nothing will stop it. Machi says, we are going to change the narrative for them. We will not allow them to drive their evil narrative. That means doom to us. That's it. It means doom. If we allow them, we are doomed. Honestly, if we allow them, we are doomed. Saravanan. United Nations will never say anything about these killings in Biafra land until we take action. These evil people and politicians, and that's true. They would never, ever. You know, they will never ever do that. They will never do that. Never. So we're taking action. Free MNK now in Jesus' name. And as we say in Jesus' name, we take action towards that. And that's what we're doing, all that we're doing. I want to thank you all for watching. Please, tomorrow, join the broadcast by 4 p.m. Biafra time. It's going to be critical because I'm going to be making critical analysis on why Abiola was killed. Please share this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not, and share it all around your social media platforms. And invite people tomorrow. Let them be here tomorrow. We're going to start, and it's going to be hot here tomorrow, so that we can have the truth spoken and sent all around the nations of the world, so that people can know what we're doing and know that the truth will definitely make every one of us free. Thank you so much, all. I love you all, and I appreciate you all for your time and everything. Thank you so much. I want you to understand that we are set to go home, and nothing will stop us. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day. and compliments celebration. But please remember, we are not to be overwhelmed by celebration, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is somewhere because of us, and we must appreciate that fact. That is why all those chicken, all those stuff, no, killing and marrying and being carried out, no, carried away, no. We remember Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and that's where we stand. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Biafra time on this station, Biafra Global Network. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and your host, always here on this platform. Meet you tomorrow. God bless you very good.